What's happening, everyone, and welcome to the More Life Frequency podcast. If you're looking to infuse your events with an epic party vibe or get started in the entertainment industry, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Isaac, and after a decade of rocking dance floors from Australia to Greece, I'm here to share the strategies and stories with you from my journey in the entertainment business. Welcome everyone to episode 4 of the More Life Frequency podcast, and thank you so much for joining me. In this episode, we'll be covering how you can go about finding the best, most qualified DJ. I'm going to be exploring online and offline. Yep, offline still exists. Options in order to find the right DJ for your event, whether that's a hen's party, engagement, even a wedding. And stick around till the end because I've got a hot tip in regards to something just to be aware of that not a lot of people know about. So stick around and let's dive right in. And firstly, what I want to cover is offline options regarding how to find the best DJ. So no internet. Go figure. So put your phones away and get out there and go into the real world, because you can still find some great DJs out there. And the first place to go and the first type of people you want to ask is actually venues and venue referrals. So oftentimes, even once you've picked a venue, certain entertainment companies would be on their vendor list. So these would be pre-approved entertainment companies on that actual venues list that, you know, they've spoken to, they may have a relation with, or they've been working with them for quite a while. And it could be a great source to start if you have no clue about who you're going to reach out to. Now, secondly, event planners also have quite a network here in regards to knowing DJs and entertainment companies. They might be able to help you out and help you with suggestions too, but the same cautions go out for event planners as well. You never know who they actually have deals with, or if they have preferred suppliers, and are they actually the best DJs for, you know, the occasion? You never really know. So do your own homework as well is what I would recommend. Word of mouth is still a viable option for DJs. So go and ask your friends, go and ask your family. Maybe you've been to a party and you've seen some DJs play. I know that I got heaps of work from word of mouth because somebody saw me play somewhere, whether that's, you know, at a hen's or an event or something like that, and they asked me to play at their own party. Now, I've even been asked to play at a wedding when the setting the person saw me play at was completely different, but they loved the music so much. They were like, it's so different. It was very much like a deep house set. That's what they wanted at their wedding, even during the reception time when everyone was having dinner, just some chill deep house. But my point is, you never really know when you're out and about. Keep your ear to the street. And, you know, if something catches your ear, go for it and dive right in. Another great avenue for finding great DJs is actually the local music scene. So if you're a youngin and you go out and about a lot, or, you know, even if you're not and you're a bit older like me, but you're out and you know a couple of DJs who know DJs and things like that, it can be a great setting in order to be like, oh, I want to book this guy. Maybe you're at a bar, or maybe you're at a restaurant or something like that. These can be great places in order to go and find these, you know, almost needle in a haystack type of DJs. Some of them won't even have, an Instagram, a YouTube, a TikTok, but it's like a little hidden gem that no one else would know of. And sometimes you can find some super, super unique acts. And again, when I was coming up in the scene and when my business partner was also coming up in the scene, this is a lot of how we would be discovered. We were very much a band of DJs who played at certain venues on a regular basis and have had residencies. And man, it was great because we ended up playing all sorts of different events. Even, for example, somebody that saw me play at a club and back then at a gym too, which was quite odd for back then, she built a stage on top of a pool at her house in order for us to play at her event. Just so she was really in touch with the local music scene. That's what she wanted. And that's what she did. Epic party, waterfront. I still remember it to this day. It was probably, man, that was years ago now, but there we go. That's another way you can find DJs. I want to move into maybe an unorthodox way that people book DJs. Sometimes you get the people that want to book, a super well-known DJ, like let's say a Peking Duck, or I'm going to just say like Fisher or whoever it is that's super high profile. But hey, maybe you have the budget. It's super expensive, like just a heads up, but it is something that people can do if you have the budget, or even like us as DJs and as an artist act, we've been scouted through this method as well. Like, oh, we really like your music, because yes, we also make music, and we've been booked through that just because they want to book us as the act. And obviously that's more of a premium than if somebody goes the traditional DJ route sort of thing. So I'm going to inform you in regards to how to go about this booking process, because it's very much a black hole for people who haven't done it before. So what you want to actually do is go on their social media profiles. So let's say you'll find them on Instagram or you find them on TikTok. Just dive deep. Maybe they have a website or a landing page and they have some sort of email address. A lot of these bigger artists, although some can be self-managed or have a booking agent in-house, most have a booking agent which is out of house. It's a booking agency company. So they'll have their email address there, and what you do is you negotiate with them in regards to a fee. Some DJs don't even play certain types of events. So it really depends on the act, how they want to position it. Don't be surprised if they don't want, any photos on social media or anything tagged from the event, because some DJs will just do it for the booking and that's it. And there'll be certain clauses in there too. And in regards to cost considerations too, just know that when you book an act, including when you book me and my business partner as a music artist act, there are things to consider, such as a technical rider, which what a technical rider is basically, okay, we require this set of club standard gear. And when you book a music act, I'm going to use the Peking Duck example, they will require you to pay for and provide that equipment. So, and that'll be expected to be, working perfectly and things like that. They might have requests for staging or maybe 3 or 4 DJ decks and things like that. So just be prepared for those additional costs. Something else is also a hospitality rider. They might actually require you to provide them with food to be fed or certain drinks and things like that. And some acts are notorious for having like emphatic hospitality riders. It might be different when they get privately booked, but something just to check prior to actually going ahead, because you don't want to go ahead with the booking and that would be a surprise at the end. So now let's focus on the power of social media for discovery. So we're going online, we're picking up our phone or going on our laptop, whatever, and you want to know an online way in regards to how to find a DJ. So I'm going to cover first audio platforms, which I find that most people, they don't go to these platforms first in order to find, the best DJs or DJs they might like to book. These platforms include like SoundCloud or Mixcloud. Now, these are platforms where DJs put their mixes on there so that people can, they either work out to them or they, do whatever and they listen to them in the background. But it can actually be a super good indicator of the style the DJ plays. Be aware, if they do a DJ mix, it's going to be a completely different vibe than if they do a poolside mix, for example. But you can at least hear, okay, they transition well, or they have really good taste of which two songs go together. And then it's really up to you in regards to talking to that DJ afterwards in regards to how they can actually accommodate for your needs in particular. And these SoundCloud and Mixcloud are a great start. They also usually provide links to the artist's other socials. Maybe you can see some of the followers and their comments that they've had. And they'll also provide an email address you can reach out to these artists. And maybe they don't have their own agency or company. Like we never had before an entertainment brand, so to speak. We were purely artists, which is absolutely fine, but just be aware these type of DJs actually exist as well, and those platforms are absolutely great to find out about them. Other platforms, these are the really obvious ones. You've got your Instagrams, your TikToks. Also, YouTube can be really good. So lately there's a lot of trends, DJs filming sets and things like that on YouTube. You might find a local DJ who's doing some sets on YouTube you vibe with. That's what you want for your event. Go ahead and reach out. They have a contact section. They should have an email in there. If they don't, do you know what I mean? So they should really have that details in there. Instagram, sometimes searching with a hashtag, although it's not my vibe personally. Searching with a hashtag could be something like hashtag hens DJ or hashtag event DJ. You may find some people in your area there and some DJs in your area there as well. Sticking with the social media theme, we're going into the realm now of Facebook groups and things like that. So there are a lot of websites and groups out there that speak about, planning a wedding, and they have a bunch of suppliers, or it's just a discussion and things like that. So maybe if you just follow some groups for the type of event you want to have, so for example, a hens, you can find some recommendations of some DJs or some entertainers that could be a good suit for the type of event you're having. And of course, let's not forget about the classic Google search. So just type in, let's say you want a DJ in Sydney DJs, or you want an Ibiza-style Sydney DJ, which is something that we at morlyfe specialize in. Really, that means just really bringing in our experience from playing at clubs all around the world and bringing that as a unique aspect to your event. So you can search whatever you want on Google and you'll get search results coming up as well. You can delve deep, you can get a few quotes from different things, but some little tips there is include keywords of, for example, the city that you're in or the location that you're in, and Google will work its magic and do all that sort of thing. Something that actually, quite new, but now you've got AI too. So you've got stuff like Google Gemini or ChatGPT. So ask them and see what they recommend in your area and, dive deeper as well. After the Google search, you have the classic, obviously, website, and some things to look for in the website are, listed testimonials. Maybe they have some information about packages that they offer and things like that. So you could really dive deep into somebody's website and see these sorts of things. Google reviews is a great tool as well, just to assess, when you're scouting DJs at the start, it's a great source for that. Now let's cover, so you've picked a DJ that you want to contact with. Now what's the next step after that? So you can contact them via email. They'll have that on their website or on their socials, or maybe you've bumped into a DJ at a club, you want to ask, and there you go, you found somebody. You've got phone calls and phone numbers, contact forms, which is usually on the website or the entertainer's website. So go ahead and go look for that. Or also text message. In my experience, I've been contacted on all these types of communication methods. I would say make your preferred type of communication method known. Like some people prefer calls, or they prefer texting because they're super busy and they're always running around and they don't have time to sit there on their phone. People prefer different things. Just allow your entertainer to know that so they can be like, oh, hey, okay, I'll contact you on this medium only. Easier for the entertainer, easier for you, and then overall you'll have a much greater and better experience with all of it. So once you want to communicate, what info should you provide? So usually this will all be covered in the form, but things such as location doesn't need to be specific, but the suburb, how long the event is going to go for. If you know the venue, it might be beneficial to reveal that if you're comfortable. Obviously your phone number and or email and things like that. Maybe your music preference. And if you have an idea about the budget that you were thinking of, including that in your initial inquiry as well helps and goes a long way. I can't communicate the amount of times that somebody's reached out and just been like, hey bro, you free? It's like, I'm kind of like, all right, when, where, for how long, this year, next year, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, just be specific in the beginning and the communication will flow a lot better. You'll get your quote a lot faster and you'll waste heaps less of your time. So don't be the bro, you free guy is all I'm trying to say. So let's get into evaluating a DJ's quality. So how many years of experience have they had? What music styles do they play or have they played? And even, this is a common misconception too, even if online the DJ mixes that you find are not exactly the type of music that you like for example, in our case, the artist project, very bass house heavy, which is just heavy house music, right? But in some sets, in certain settings, depending what we're booked for, we play different styles of music. Now, it doesn't mean we can't play different styles of music if what you see online is a heavier style. So just ask the DJ. And oftentimes they'll have offline resources that they can send you, such as more chill sorts of mixes, such as in our case, that will actually accommodate for your event. So really try to go in the lens of, are these DJs and entertainers professional? Do they look experienced? Do they seem like they know what they are talking about? Are they a vibe? Like those sorts of things. And then try to, say, okay, I want, a more chill type of house music at my event, or I want a bit of a mix of like 2000s R&B and some house music. then to see if they're the right fit over there. Obviously, I spoke about before client testimonials and Google reviews. I won't go back into that. And any other additional content is beneficial. So, shameless plug, this podcast, you can get to know who you wish to book just by listening to the people like you are listening to me right now, which I thank you so much for. Spotify playlists is a very popular way as well that DJs and entertainment companies try to capture a certain vibe, and they say, okay, this is the sort of taste. How about this? Do you vibe with this? So these are some other things you can actually look for before you decide to book your act. Now, as a thank you for sticking around this long, that bonus tip that I mentioned in the very beginning, and it's about that time. And the bonus tip is, so there are obviously these marketplace platforms where DJs can basically go ahead and list themselves, and sometimes they pay to list themselves on it, that people use to find, it's like a Fiverr of finding DJs, which is fine. And if you're on a budget, these can be, a really useful tool to get you started. But just bear in mind that these marketplaces, anyone can list themselves on there. And, it doesn't mean they're experienced. It certainly doesn't mean they can mix, So they're not necessarily a bad thing, but do your additional research on top of these, having these marketplaces available, because no doubt as soon as you type in, Sydney Ibiza style DJ on Google, you're going to get an ad from a DJ marketplace on Instagram while you're on your story. How this happens, don't ask me. But what I mean to say is just be aware here, do your due diligence. And something else from a more support the DJ sort of aspect is a lot of these marketplaces prohibit the DJ or entertainer from communicating outside of this marketplace. Now, while I get it, and the company has to make money and things like that, it really, hinders the ability for DJs to grow and stand on their own 2 feet. Maybe they might become dependent on these platforms, and they might struggle to, survive outside it. And, maybe it's a me personally thing, but I would prefer an entertainer be able to support themselves as an independent outside a marketplace as well, and maybe just using a marketplace as a tool to gain that extra exposure. Again, nothing wrong with it, but I thought I would make you aware of how these things work. So, in summary, remember to check multiple sources. Don't just pick up your phone. Put it away as well. Get out there, get into the world, see what it's all about, and go ahead and try and find the best DJ for your event possible. If you got value from this episode, please be sure to hit subscribe, follow, even leave us a comment or a review. It really helps us a lot in bringing you more event planning gold. And be sure to share this episode with somebody who is planning a party. I'm Isaac, and thanks so much for tuning in to the More Life Frequency. Until next time, all the best and stuff.